one thing which I would like to tell you that whatever I did in DRDO, I basically cannot talk about this over here. Okay, and the other thing is that yeah, basically everything was perfect. Thanks for that. And yeah, so basically I started two companies. One is definitely the QD Robotics, and the other one is Alternate Dynamics. My name is Faiz Akram. I came to Jamia in ninth school actually. I belong to Bihar, and I came to Jamia for definitely for a goal to achieve, to crack the IIT and stuff to become an a traditional engineers, which most of us was hoping for. Okay, but yeah, so soon I realized that taking like a traditional BTech degree was definitely not for my goal. And then I pursued about a career in something which where I can study like all of the engineering. Okay, because I was interested in like in mechanical, in electrical, in electronics, in CS. Except civil, I was interested in basically all of the engineering domain. So, and like all of my friends and like all of my friends who pursued his or her career in engineering, I was deep interested in physics. I still am a physics student, basically. Yeah. So I took my BSc in instrumentation because the syllabus was very good in Jamia. Currently, BSc instrumentation has been closed due to I don't know the reason, but maybe the department was not able to handle it more properly or something. So right now there is no course of BSc instrumentation. Instead of that, they are running like BSc in solar, which is a vocational course. Okay. So yeah. So in BSc instrumentation, I studied all the courses like. In instruments which we use basically from the mechanical perspective to the electrical and electronics, especially the physics and maths, the hardcore, the papers of physics and maths, which literally helped me to, to start a career in robotics as well as in like in entrepreneurship also, because the pros and cons in BSc was that it was not a very organized structure over there. Okay, because the department, there was no department, special department for, like there is a department of physics, there is a department of mathematics and stuff. So there was no department of instrumentation. Okay, so the Department of Physics used to take care of all the responsibilities which we were, of the problems which we were facing. So the faculties was not very good at that time in Department of Physics, because we were supposed to learn instrumentations and all those things. Physics faculty was one of the best, I guess, in the country which we have right now in Jamia, and same for the mathematics also. Okay, so they were very nice teachers. But for instrumentation, I had to uh, first of all find the professors which could teach me or which could teach us like instrumentation papers like microcontrollers, microprocessors, digital electronics, even about the gear system metrology and stuff. Okay, so I used to roam around the like the BTech campus, the engineering campuses and diploma engineering, and I used to ask professors so that he or she can teach us those particular subjects which he or she was she has expertise in. So that helped me a lot. Okay, the reason is that I made a very good contact with lots of professors in throughout engineering, like from the diploma to BTech or MTech. I was from my degree was actually from the Department of Physics, so physics department, maths department. So I came under the shades of lots of professors, and they most of them literally shaped me in such a way that what I should do like after 1 year, or what should I do right now. Because when I started, learning about physics, the best thing which I got in basic instrumentation was that there was no chemistry paper. Okay, and I literally, I'm one of these students who hated chemistry at the most. Okay, so even at school, my chemistry teacher was like, "You must pass, over. That is more than enough."
As why was it due to lots of exceptions in chemistry, or was there some other reason?
I don't know, man. I don't know. It just mere your chemistry, chemistry, money, something like that. You can say, okay. So But right now, I feel very stupid, and because right now most of my research and most of the things I'm supposed to do are very much inclined towards chemistry, like the physical chemistry or the reactions and even material science, which is basically also a domain of mechanical engineering also. But when I have lots of friends who pursued their career in chemistry, like BSc and MSc in chemistry. So I used to go, I definitely go to them and ask them about all those materials and stuff, and I talk to them a lot. And and like now starting learning about all those things, which I should have done in school or at least in BSc. So yeah, there was that trade-off about this. Okay, so and yeah, so yeah, so someone can relate to this. Okay, good. So actually, this is the thing, and yeah. So other thing is that when I was even in school, so I started watching something. Uh, I can say a lot. Like you can stop me if I'm taking much more time because sometimes I speak a lot. Okay, so
Please keep going. We are over here to listen to the journey and
okay,
everything.
yeah, for sure. So I like when I was in 11th or something, so I started watching Ancient Aliens. I don't know if most of you have watched it or not. There is a show on History Channel where the host or the so-called scientists or researchers over there are, everything they say, they see, they are damn sure that it basically was built by aliens or something. Okay. For example, like there is a very beautiful temple in India. I don't remember the name right now, but it was actually, made. It was actually made by the one stone by cutting, and they were saying that yeah, only aliens can build these kinds of stuff. No humans can build this. Similarly for the pyramids and stuff. So yeah, so that was actually very fascinating for me. That yeah, that is actually one of the most important questions in philosophy and research also, right? Like what are we really alone in this universe? Okay, what is the what if we are really alone, or if there are conscious life over there on some other galaxies or on some other planets and stuff? Not necessarily advanced civilizations, but if there is any consciousness over there. Okay, so I used to watch all those things, and there was a very fascinating topic which they used to talk about, like if let us say if aliens exist and stuff, and so there has to be some the means of transportation, intergalactic transportation and stuff. You are not traveling from Delhi to like Patna and stuff, so you can just take a Rajdhani Express and go. You are talking about intergalactic transportation, so there has to have very advanced, propulsion systems basically. Okay, so there my fascination actually started. That what are the different propulsion systems which are basically used. Okay, and that is why my the whole idea to start any company, like about the Curie Robotics, and I will talk about Curie Robotics in few minutes, and about alternate dynamics also. Okay, so the idea is about to develop a company, to start a company of a propulsion systems, right? So I started studying about all those Nazi programs. The German scientists used to be very good at those times in World War II and stuff. So I started learning about those things, and the electric propulsion and stuff. And so when I got admission in BSc, I got very good time. Because most of my time I used to spend with the professors, not with the students or not in the canteen. So I used to go after the college time also to sit in the professors and to to disturb them basically. So initially I started disturbing one of he was actually head of department at that time, Professor Saiduddin. If anyone is from the Department of Physics, or if anyone knows him, so he is actually one of the brightest mind which we have in our, not just in our university but in our country also, which I personally believe. Okay, and he is very sharp minded, and he has very good clarity about things. Okay, so and he was teaching me like basic electronics, as well as his area of expertise is actually nuclear physics. and he also taught us electromagnetic waves, EM. Okay, so I used to talk about electromagnetic propulsion all the time. So he told me like, okay, so what are your plans? Okay, you cannot just come around and talk about some fantasies which you saw in ancient aliens and stuff and waste my time. If you have a like solid plan, like a research paper or a theory or a or a prototype method, so only then I'm going to talk to you. Otherwise, please don't waste my time with all this kind of stuff. Okay, so I came up with a plan. I studied lots of research paper. I tried working out some equations, theoretical concept basically, nothing practical, nothing on the level of prototyping or engineering, just on the equations level, just from the perspective of a physicist or physicist students. So yeah, I came up with the idea, and parallelly, someday I watched Iron Man. Okay, so it literally blew my mind. Okay, because I came from Bihar, so at that time there was there was shortage of electricity in my city, especially. Ayush belongs to the nearest Zilla from my city, right? You are from Rajgir. Yeah. So we both come from a city nearby the Nalanda. Okay, you all must have heard about the Nalanda University. Okay, so yeah, so I never watched any Hollywood movie except the Spider-Man and Mummy Returns and so. So in Delhi, I watched Iron Man, and in the first five clips of first Iron Man, okay, in the first five clips where they, they talk about give the introduction of the Robert Downey Jr., the prodigy genius and stuff. So uh, in the background there was this word that he's a robotics genius, and I was like, yeah, this is something which I should do in parallel. Okay, so, and I was, I guess, in 11th standard or something, maybe in the end of 11th standard, at the last time of 11th standard. So I started googling that how can we become a robotics engineer and stuff. Okay, so yeah, I wasted lots of money, I wasted lots of time to just to find a proper mentor or a tutor who can teach me robotics and stuff. But I could not find anyone. Right now, like nowadays, there are many ways where you can learn robotics. One of the ways is definitely Curie robotics. One of the best way actually to learn robotics is Curie robotics. So see, that's how I pitch my company. Okay, I build a thing and then suddenly I pitch these things. Okay, so yeah, so
I guess the entrepreneur setting or like the future entrepreneur, they should at least learn this also. The how to pitch a company within a conversation.
Yeah. Okay, and I'm going to pitch alternate dynamics also in between. Okay, so yeah, so I started, and one of my cousin who lives there, you know, who lives in UK, and not from birth, obviously. He went to UK. So he told me that if you want to learn something, you can do it by yourself. Okay, it is definitely going to take much more time than a mentor can guide you. But the failure which you will, which you will have to, uh, face, the problem which you will face by yourself, and the project which you are trying to execute by yourself will make you such a good engineer that you are not going, after 1 or 2 years, you are not going to need help from any experts. Okay, so, and yeah, so that was the reason I started working alone and by myself. I was maybe in 11th, at the end of 11th. Yeah. Okay, so I started learning about microcontrollers, digital electronics, mechanical design, SolidWorks and stuff. Whatever I could, okay, whatever I saw on YouTube, whatever I saw, what they are teaching in IITs, what they are teaching in MITs, Stanford and stuff. So I started, learning. I started taking their courses on which are basically free on YouTube. Okay, all the MIT courses are free on YouTube. IITs also, Stanford also. So I started taking their courses. I started learning, and then after 12th, my father actually he's sort of a goofy person and stuff. So he is not very materialistic. So he was like, you do anything you want. बस कुछ हुनर सीखो. Okay, don't just rush into engineering if all your classmates or all your friends are doing. But that is for sure कि इतनी तमीज हो कि that you should learn those things. Okay, कुछ भी पढ़ रहे हो तो so that make sure that you know those stuff. So I chose BSc instrumentation because of that reason. One of the reason is that I had no pressure from my parents, obviously. Okay, and the other reason was the syllabus was very good in BSc instrumentation. So that is the first thing. If there is any like school students over here, I don't know. So please do check the syllabus. If you are getting admissions in any degree, any college degree, please check the syllabus. Please check the professors who are going to teach you. Okay, their credentials matter at the end. The syllabus, the curriculum matters at the end of the day. Okay, so I went into BSc instrumentation. I met some amazing professors like in Department of Physics. I met Professor Saiduddin, Professor Hassan sir, and there were other professors also in Department of Physics. Similarly, in mathematics, diploma engineering, BTech. So, but my, in my journey, Professor Saiduddin plays a very major role, very important role, because I used to waste his time the most. Okay, and initially he got tired, but at the end he understood that this boy is not going to stop unless I start. So unless I start channelizing his energy into something, or he's going to just come up with random ideas from ancient aliens and stuff. Okay, I was so into those alien stuff that I had 2 or 3 books also, which I used to take to him, and I basically requested him that you should also read those things. So, so yeah. So and in parallel, I started working on robotics also. So I was going to him with the robots which I made. Okay, like a remote control robot and stuff. So he saw these two fields which I was going into. Okay, one was the hardcore physics, and the other one was the hardcore engineering, the applied sciences basically. Okay, so and the physics, the problem with me in the physics domain was that the topic I was working on was actually very hypothetical, not practically, but theoretically also. Okay, for example, I was working on the topic to unify the electric field and the gravitational field. Okay, if there is anyone from the physics background, so they must know that the unification of all the forces is something which Einstein wanted to do, and which Stephen Hawking wanted to do, and right now Michio wants to do. Okay, so I was not trying to do all the unify all the forces, but with these two forces basically, the electric field and the gravitational field. And the paper I was reading was actually around the 1930s, 40s, because after that it got a dead end in physics domain. Okay, so he suggested me that you are good in engineering, like you are good in robotics, so you should pursue a career in applied science. Okay, and not in a theoretical physics, because it may create a problem for you in longer run. Okay, because he told me that in theoretical concepts, especially if you want to do something which is purely hypothetical or accepted as hypothesis only in in nowadays research communities, so you should not start your career with those things. Okay, you should first of all build a platform, and then after that you can excel it. Okay, so I started focusing more on like engineering. I started learning more about robotics, more about mechanical engineering, electrical, whatever was needed to to build any project. Okay, so my method of study is this actually. When I come up with a project, then I start learning those things. Okay, let's say if you come up with a problem, like if you want to build a blockchain network, maybe I know nothing about blockchain. Okay, so after today I will start working on those things. I'm not going to learn blockchain just because it is cool nowadays. I'm not wasting my time if I do not have a project or something. Okay, so first of all, I found,
like you're a proper problem-oriented person. Problem
yeah,
solve karo.
yeah. Because see, the thing is that there are thousands of things which you can learn without any use. Okay, for example, I started learning calligraphy, but after 2 days, I knew I'm not going to do anything with this. Okay, if any, I have a violin also, so I never played. Okay, so I had to pick only those things, only those subjects, only those topics which I'm going to use in my life. Okay, in my professional life, as at least in my personal life and stuff. Okay, so it should enhance my personality overall, not just for the sake of a grade or something. Okay, so yeah, so I started learning about engineering. I came up with 2 3 projects. One of the project was a prosthetic hand, for which I started a company called Alternate Dynamics. So that's how I pitch it. Okay. So yeah, so I started working on on a project, prosthetic hand, and Professor Saiduddin suggested me that there is a cell called E-cell in Jamia. There was actually at 2014 or 15, the initiative has been done. I guess in 2014 or 15 of E-cell. I'm not so sure about the date. Okay, so I went there, and uh, it could not materialize at that point. But now I see the students like Ayush, and I'm in contact with these 2 students. One is Ayush and the other one is Shagufta. Yeah. So from the ESL, and I'm really happy that these students, they are actually graduate students of BCom. I guess Shagufta is also from BCom. Okay, so they are graduate students, and I keep asking Ayush, that why are you doing this? Okay, what's your benefit in this? Right? Because I would not have done anything like this without my benefit. I was so, I don't know if I was business oriented, business minded, or just opportunist or something. But that's how I see these things. That if I'm not getting anything, at least in terms of intellectual, not again. So I asked Ayush this also, that if you are doing this just to get any experience, then it is a good thing, right? And definitely I'm going to get something. So, thank you for this to to start all this thing, and we are at least all the alumni can come together and share their knowledge, their experiences. I'm not very experienced in the field of engineering. I just I completed my masters in 19, so it's around 3 years, right? So I'm not very much experienced in engineering or even entrepreneurship, but yeah, I can explain, I can share what I have learned in these 3 or 4 years of my journey. So, yeah, you want to ask something, or should I speak more?
Yes, you can keep speaking and we'll ask you questions.
Okay. Yeah, for sure, for sure. Okay, so yeah, so I came up with the idea of the prosthetic hand. I came up with the idea of a prosthetic hand, very sci-fi kind of prosthetic hand, like in Marvel movies, the Doc Ock type. Okay, Doctor Octopus type. So Professor Saiduddin, he always pulls me down from the fantasy to the real world. That's what his contribution is in my life. So basically, otherwise I would have done nothing except sci-fi writer or something. I don't know. So he told me to, he basically told me to work on the real problems. If I am trying to pursue a career, or if I want to design a prosthetic hand, so it should not be only a science fiction, like a fancy or those kinds, but there are thousands and millions of people around the globe who lost their hands, or they are amputees, and they need a affordable and easy solutions, like technical solutions. Okay, and then he told me to get some data about how many people are amputees in India. Okay, so around, I guess, every year there are 40,000 people who get amputated in India, and only 15 to 20% of them get prosthetic hand, the working prosthetic hand, fully functional. Okay, the most of the prosthetic hand which you will see are actually very costly. Around, it ranges around 2.5 lakhs and 3 lakhs. Okay, so I guess most of us can relate that most of the Indians cannot afford it, right? And even those prosthetic hands do not look good, man. Those are just the hooks. Okay, those were those are just this hook, and they were actually the hooks were controlled with the shoulder. There was no electrically operated. There was nothing technical and stuff. It was basically just a prop kind of prosthetic hand, and it costs around 2.5 to 3 lakhs. Okay, so I started working on this thing, and I came up, with I started designing how they should look, how they should be controlled, and then I started learning about a few more engineering stuff. Okay, and yeah, so he told me this also, that if you want to use this your sci-fi kind of fantasy in the prosthetic hand, so use this for for the smaller children, for the children, because they should not feel like they are are disabled or something, but they should feel like extra able. Okay, they should not feel that there is a artificial thing connected to their bodies. So yeah, so we came up with this idea that yeah, so we can make our prosthetic hand like it should look like Iron Man or Captain Marvel or whatever superheroes they like. Okay, so yeah, so these are the basic stuff, and so with this I started alternate dynamics for the prosthetic hand, and then after masters, nothing fancy happened in masters actually. Yeah, so it was a complete just doing my stuff and these things. All the major things which happened in my life was actually in the graduation, in the bachelor degree, okay, in the BSc. So in masters, I did my masters, and at the end of the minor project, I met Dr. Ashok Salhan. He's a retired scientist from DRDO. Okay, he was our minor project guide actually at that time in Jamna. Okay, so I met him, and he was in one of my seniors, I guess freshers or farewell guest. Okay, so he gave a 2 to 3 minute speech, a very good speech. Okay, not any hardcore engineering, but about the problem solving using the Jugado method. Okay, this was his exact words. I remember. Okay, so and that's where it hit me that that is the only reason ISRO has been, ISRO or DRDO is capable of doing those things that the world is thinking that what are they making, and how they can make these things so cheap, right? So because the thing is that if you find a problem, and if you know that the solution is engineering, especially in engineering, okay, so the solution can be as cheap as possible. Let me, I don't know, just give you an example of something. Okay, so I have a kit over here, a robotics kit. Okay, so in this kit, which you can see here, this is basically MDF. Okay, which is the medium density fiber board. Okay, so if you go to the market and if you get a MDF sheet, you will get it around 12 to 30, 15 rupees. Okay, a sheet around 20 by 20 centimeter in 3 or 4 width. Okay, this is the medium density. But to get it into this shape, it is going to cost you around 60 rupees or 70 rupees. Okay, so the difference is very high. Okay, in the material and in the prototype, or in the in the product. So the idea is always to reduce those costs between the material, the material and the final product. How we can reduce those things? What we are basically doing is, if we say like in a from a science perspective, or an engineering perspective, what we are doing is that we have got a raw materials of, let's say, iron. Okay, if you go to any any kabadi wala and stuff even in Patla house, so you will find 1 kg of iron in around, just hold on a second. Yeah, sorry. Okay, so you will find 1 kg of iron around, raw iron, nothing brushed or polished or nothing, in around 20 or 30 rupees or 40 rupees. But if you want those iron in a particular shape, it is going to cost you a lot, in thousands. Okay, so what changes it? What is the process in between? If you can analyze those process through which that particular material is going to the final product, you can reduce the cost at each process. Okay, and that is the only reason production makes a company very hard. To operate a production in any company, if you want to start a R&D company, it is less tiring, it is less painful, okay, painful mentally as well as physically. Okay, so it is going to be very less painful if you are only starting a R&D company, because in R&D company, the cost does not matter that much. Okay, if even for a like a 10 months project and stuff, like the project I did in Jamia for DRDO. Okay, the budget was around 10 lakhs for 10 months. Okay, which was good for R&D. Not very good, but which was actually very good. We could have, we used to order whatever we like just for the testing. Okay, but let's say what we designed was supposed came to around 10 to 12,000 rupees per unit. Okay, the final product was around 10 to 12,000 rupees. Okay, per unit, and the idea was to cut down the cost to 3 to 4,000 rupees. Okay, so that's where challenges start. Okay, the research is very good, the prototyping is very good, it is fascinating, it is great. You build a team, you assemble 4 or 5 groups of people who are experts in their field. Okay, but the moment you start production, it is going to very tiring in every section. Like I told you, like from the material to the production to the product, you have to analyze all the phases through which these material are going to go through, and you have to cut down the cost in each and every sections. And yeah, so in Curie Robotics, what so generally we do this. Okay, we first of all we are focused on the R&D point, but definitely we have to produce it in bulk also. Okay, so initially what I do is I design these robotics kit from like the mechanical perspective or the from the electrical perspective. Okay, I have amazing team over here. Some Most of the people in my company are from Jamia Millia Islam. Okay, some of them are also from Jamia Hamdard. So I'm a huge fan of Jamia Millia Islam. Okay, so I'm so basically glad that I took admission, got admission in Jamia, even in 9th standard. After that, I never felt like I should apply for any other university. I just completed my 12th. I applied for only BSc Instrumentation. I completed BSc. I applied for MSc Electronics. I completed MSc. I started a company. This very simple, the roadmap which I took in my academic career actually.
Your whole academic career has been moving around in and around Jamia Millia.
Yeah, not even around, inside the Jamia Millia. Not even around the Jamia, inside the Jamia, because I used to go to the campus around 8 a.m. Because around in those time there were only few students, and in Jamia there are lots of squirrels over there, and if you sit around on any canteen table with a packet of biscuit, okay, so you can literally feed them with your hand. Okay, so that was really that was my favorite pastime in the morning, and I used to be in the library and half a, because library used to be open up to 2 a.m. right? The old library. Okay, so I used to be there. So my whole academic career, in fact, my whole the youngest part of my life was inside the Jamia. Just hold on a second. There's someone on the door. Okay, please.
Okay, I would just like to tell you all that if you have any question during the session, you can just type it in the chat box, and we'll obviously heed your question and ask you questions also. So if you have any doubt, any question in between the session, and you want to ask something to the speaker, you can do so very freely. Even if camera and mic, you can do so. There is no problem with that.
Yeah, sorry for that. Okay, so okay, so yeah, so I started these two company with the idea. One is basically, and see, the thing is that the inspiration to start a robotics company, basically the EdTech robotics company, right? We do not only make industrial robots, we make robots so that students can learn the robotics and the basic engineering stuff from school students also, as well as the college students. Okay, so we started this with the idea so that the problem which I personally saw in the engineering students was this: they most of them took engineering as a career, pursued engineering as a career because they were physics or they were good in maths. Okay, which I don't know if this is still a problem. Okay, but when I was there in the college, in my BSc or even at school also, so students were good in physics, they were good in maths, so they thought that they are going to be good in engineering. They thought that they are going to be good in engineering only, not specifically like they want a career in mechanical, electrical, or electronics. So they just wanted to be an engineer. Okay, and the problem which I guess they also face in their like the academic life as well, that they get boring. They get bored after first or second year. Okay, they stop enjoying this thing, and after the BTech, they pursue some other career in other domain. Like some of them go do MBA, or some of them go to any banking sector and stuff. Some of them start preparation for UPSC. So because see, the thing is that engineering is one of the most challenging domain. Okay, you cannot be you cannot just suddenly wake up in the morning and think I want to be an engineer. Should be prepared. This is a major commitment. You cannot just dodge it off, and you can think just okay, there are going to be paid and I'm just going to give exams and I will get a degree. You are doing a very big mistake actually, especially in the applied sciences. I don't know about like the other degrees, about the BCom or about the BA and stuff. So I'm sure that those also field must be challenging, but yeah, but I personally feel that yes, engineering is one of the most challenging, a domain to pursue even research, to pursue a degree, as well as to make a career out of it. So you have to be very good. So my idea is to basically give, especially the school students, the idea first, what if they want to pursue a career in engineering or not. First, these two things should be cleared out, right? If they are just they are good in physics or mathematics, it is not actually it is not going to be like they are going to be a good engineer just because they are good in physics. You might be the best student in physics, so you should pursue a career in physics, not in engineering. Okay, so that is why I started this company, Curie Robotics, with the name obviously from the Madame Curie. Okay, because she is such a role model for any researcher or academic points, especially for the women, not just for the women, but especially for the women, because she was once rejected from the college because she was women. Okay, and then she won 2 Nobel Prizes. She is, I guess, the only person who got 2 Nobel Prizes. So there is the Hug Life movement for all the researchers, especially for the women. That yeah, you should pursue your career in engineering, in sciences, and we are definitely going to help you to to decide if you want to, if you should pursue a career in engineering or not. First thing is that. Okay, not because all your friends or parents are saying so you should pursue it, but yes. And yeah, similarly for the alternate dynamics, Professor Saiduddin told me to to drill down my fantasy about superheroes and stuff and come to the ground, see the real problems which these civilians face in day-to-day life. Okay, and yeah, so I started these 2 companies to help society in a way that I can, that I should, basically. Okay, and yeah, that's what basically I do my whole waking hour. Okay, so yeah, is there any question?
There is a question actually from one of our audience members. That is, you have transitioned from a theoretical physicist to a practical one. Do you still favor the theoretical part over the applied part?
See, there is actually two things. Okay, first is definitely I love theories the most. Okay, I still read about what's the latest research about wormholes, about relativistic theories and stuff. I still read a lot about physics. My my the concept from which I solve an engineering problem is physics. Basically, I first of all I drill down those engineering problems, the applied science problems to the physics level, and then I start moving upwards to the product. Let me just give you a very example about this particular robot which we have over here. Okay, so if you want to build a robot like this, you are definitely going to need engineering not skills, right? You have to code this, you have to build circuits and stuff. But what if this robot does not move? Because the most probabilistic outcome is going to be that it is not going to work. Okay, so for these solutions, which I mostly come up, from the pessimistic thought that because I am working on these, problems for around 4 years or 5 years or something. Okay, so I come up with the points which can go wrong on a certain level. Okay, the battery can be dead. Okay, the easiest thing is that you can just turn off and turn on and see if the thing is working. The whole Indian thing. Okay, and then there might be some problems in the circuit. So how we can basically eliminate those problems, or initially gauge all those problems and analyze all those problems from the physics perspective. Okay, and so my you know I used to think from the physics perspective. Obviously, any applied science ideas or any applied science project start from from just a theory. Let's say I have told you also that my goal is to to start a propulsion company, right? So you cannot start a propulsion company, and you can never start a propulsion company without a physics. Either you must have some students or some people from physics background. Okay, because the hardcore problem is definitely the engineering, because you see the machines moving, right? But on the deep down level, on the basic level, on the foundation level, the physics is working, not just a wheel turning, right? So yeah, so I'm more biased towards physics rather than engineering. Yeah.
Okay. Faisal, there are people in our audience who are also interested about like this drone making and everything. And as you know, whenever you talk about robotics and embedded system, drone is something which fascinates people. Like, if you don't talk about it, they are like, "Yaar, kya hi baat kar rahe?" Kuch to
Okay, yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. So yeah, drone is one of the most fascinating topic right now in India. Okay, so I guess most of the people which they refer drone is actually a quadcopter, right? Not exactly the drone which they use in military and stuff, but the quadcopters they must be referring. I'm guessing. Okay, if they actually want to know about the drones, so please do let me know about the drones also. But see, the thing with the quadcopter is that very good, scope in research, in development, as well as for the industries also in drones. Amazing, scope in drones, especially in the for the countries like India. There is a very good market in agriculture, in construction sites. In defense, there is very great. But see, the thing is, which I'm actually in contact with around 4 to 5 drone startups right now, and all of them are based in India, from Indian startups. Okay, and unfortunately, none of them are actually solving the problem from engineering mindset. There are definitely lots of startups which are solving the drones problem from the engineering mindset, but the company which I am seeing, because this is when you start a project which is just a fantasy, you mostly forget the hardcore truth or the real truth which you start. just like I said, okay, if I would have started the prosthetic hand company just without the guidance of Professor Saiduddin. So I would never have thought about to solve the major problem, the problem which humans amputees face in day-to-day life. Okay, I was on the other level, completely different level. I wanted to, make a Doctor Octopus kind of prosthetic hand. I was not even thinking of civilians. Okay, that the problems amputees face. So yeah, if you want to, build any, even a drone, just for the hobby or just for your project, please look into the engineering background it requires. The first thing, and the one of the most important thing is definitely the control system. Okay, what control system basically gives you is, let me give you the example. This is a glass over here, right? And if I want my right hand to grab this glass, so my hand subconsciously or unintentionally grab this, right? Why not like this? Okay, it is going through this, right? So I'm just giving a very, I know this must be the very lame example, but this is basically called the end effector in robotics or even in control system. This gripper, okay, this is actually called the end effector. So there is a trajectory in this three-dimensional vector space. Okay, so this thing is moving in a certain direction. Your mind is basically calculating the algebra, and with a certain speed, you know where to stop, how to stop, and when to grab, and how much force you need to apply. Okay, and then only you can hold this. If I apply less force, this glass is going to fall down, because yeah, there is the thing called gravity, right? And if you apply the force with a greater extent, this is going to catch, right? Because this is a glass. Okay, so this basically is the thing which you analyze and compute and execute in control systems. The electronics part in drones is almost done. I personally believe that there is nothing more to do in electronics part. If you want to just purchase a drone, there is a company called Pixop. Okay, they have basically captured the drone industries. They make very good controllers. They make very good electronic designs and circuits. So you can just purchase it and you can just fly it around. But if you want to know exactly how the drone works, so you need to have a very good knowledge of control systems, because that's how your. Let me just show you this. This is basically the rotors which is used in drones, right? So I'm just using a simple demonstration for control system, that how we make this system are stable. Okay, I guess we do not have that much time to man. एक घंटे control system for you. Okay, so I'm just going to skip all the details. So yeah, first and most important thing is definitely the control system. Other is electronics, which is almost saturated for drones, I guess. Okay, the third thing is the coding. Okay, which is definitely one of the a most important part, because that's how we're going to execute all the commands. Algorithms, right? If you are attaching a camera on your drone, so you can use machine learning algorithms or deep learning algorithms through the computer vision. Okay, so yeah, and at the last, definitely you should have a very good knowledge of aerodynamics, because your drones is going to fly in air, right? So at the end, physics works. Yeah. I hope this answers. I cannot give a more simple answer actually. Sorry.
Acha, while like talking about robotics, like if you tell someone about robotics, and the first thing, or I guess the biggest myth about is that it is only related to people who are in the mechanical background or who are from the mechanical stream.
Okay.
So I would just like to kind of bust this myth over here, that who are people actually who can be part of this robotics?
Yeah, sure. See, so when I take the first class of any robotics, like in the demo or something, most of the students, what they feel about robotics is that it is supposed to be a humanoid robots. Okay, that is only called a robotics for most of the people. See, the robotics is basically the interdisciplinary approach, where mechanical is definitely there, electrical, electronics, and CS. When these four topics combine, then a robot can be made. Okay, and the one of the most important thing on a hardware level which you see in a robotics is actually called embedded systems. Okay, which is actually the circuit, or you can say the brain of that robot, where it is also programmed on a computer science level or on the programming level, the algorithms and stuff. Okay, let me just give you a very quick example. Like all of us must have used like the washing machines or microwave oven or the refrigerators, right? Even a TV remote manager. We all do use those things, right? So when we give a signal to the microwave oven, it is not a human. Okay, someone has programmed it to do a specific job, right? When you turn on the knob, it takes around 15 minutes to go back to its initial position, right? On a washing machine. Okay, so those things are basically are done on embedded systems, which is one of the most crucial part of our robotics. See, if you have like any interest in technology, not just to pursue your career, in engineering, but just to know how things around you work. Okay, like how your washing machines work, how your microwave ovens work. Let me give you a very another example. Like when you press this lock button on your phone, just press this, so you get the this turn on the screen, right? But when you press this for around 2 to 3 seconds, you get another option, right? So someone has programmed this thing to calculate the timer in the back end, that okay, so if the button is pressed like for just for 1 seconds, so it should give this signal, and if it is pressed for like 2 seconds, so it should give another option. So this is how we use machines, and definitely the user experience has to be very good. Otherwise, it's nothing but garbage for them. You cannot charge like 10,000, 15,000, and if the user is not enjoying or getting comfortable with those things, right? And when you start with the project in any machines, because nowadays there is no, I guess there is very less only hardcore mechanical machines, right? There are different sensors involved, there are different displays, switches, okay, and all those electronic devices are basically programmed in some way or another, right? So to learn basically robotics will actually just to learn robotics will actually give you a very good idea of any engineering domain, uh, I guess. But yeah, except civil, I guess. I have no idea about civil engineering. Okay, so yeah, but if you want to know about like the most of the machines, especially the smaller machines, which you see in your day-to-day life, like how automobile cars work, like how a Tesla self-driving car works. If you are good with robotics, you can pursue a career in self-driving cars. Okay, even if you want to pursue a career only in self-driving cars, initially you will have to learn how a smaller robot. Basically, this is a self-driving. This can be made a self-driving car. You can, if you just add a camera on top of it, and you can just replace the controller. So this can be made a self-driving car. Okay, but initially you will have to make it control like on a basic level. So yeah, this is what we do. We help everyone to understand the technology around them. And yeah, is there any other question? I guess.
Yes, there is a question, like, but I guess you have already answered. But I would just like kind of reiterate on this one, that okay, why Curie Robotics? Like, what is the inspiration behind it? Why not something else?
For me or you?
That is the question for you.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Why Curie Robotics? The first thing is definitely I love to make robots. First thing is that. The other thing is that I love to interact with students. Okay, you have no idea how much creative nowadays the student. I'm also a student. I'm not like 50 years, so but like the hardcore students, like the school students or the graduate students. Okay, the idea they come up with is so unique nowadays. They watch movies, they watch cartoons, animation, and they come up with very amazing ideas. And I love to interact with students. But the core, the motto was to help, especially school students, so that they can, so that they do not pursue the engineering just because everyone is doing it. Okay, love this domain. Okay, and then only they should pursue this career, because otherwise, I have, I personally, most of the people I know are engineers. Okay, and only a few of them, love their job. Okay, only a few, around 1 or 2% of their job. And this is what I am observing from ninth standard, since when I came to Delhi. Since then I'm observing engineers around me that they are just doing it. And I know you should not waste your life, the most important phase of your life, just because everyone is doing it. Okay, if you love this, definitely you should do it. But otherwise you are going to get bored. And फिर वही शाम में बैठ के बॉस को गाली दे रहे हैं स्टाफ की, बेकार काम होता है. At the end you do not love your job, and so you are not getting any motivation. Okay, so my idea is to at least make these students aware, that at least to make them aware that whether they should pursue a career in engineering or not. If they love it, they are not going to need my help. Okay, because I did not need anyone's help to learn robotics. Okay, so I just want them to get them started, and then they are going to learn by themselves. Yeah.
Okay, so like why the name Curie Robotics? Like why?
Yeah, by the name Curie Robotics. Yeah, definitely. I know. So when I was thinking for a name, so I came up with some fantasy names as as I am, from the like Marvels or DC Comics and stuff. But Madame Curie has such a uh, amazing academic career in her life, such a challenging and struggling life, right? And I wanted to, one thing is that I never, quote someone else's thought or something without naming them. Okay, and I takes a lot. I inspire her work. I inspire her overall journey about how she managed her, even how she managed her personal life. And never derailed her like research uh, uh, job. Okay, and she was married also, and she had a great life. She had a daughter who also got Nobel Prize, and her husband also got Nobel Prize. And so I it. I inspire, she inspired me a lot, and that's why I named, this company or on her name, Curie Robotics. And the other thing was definitely I wanted name of a woman personally. Okay, because now, even nowadays when I see most of the young girls, they think that the engineering or the hardcore physics or mathematics is only for the boys. Okay, that is one of the reasons that I don't know any man who has won 2 Nobel Prize in physics and chemistry. I know a woman who did that. Okay, so you can be you can do this better than man, I guess. Yeah, if you are willing to, definitely. Okay, so I wanted to make this a point, so that and that's why I took her name. Yeah.
So that is why that is the story behind Curie Robotics.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, so yeah, Kashiful, you have like asked that can you open the mic up? So please go ahead and open your mic and ask your question. No problem with that.
Assalamualaikum, भैया. Assalamualaikum. Am I audible?
Yeah, you are. Yes.
Yes, sir. First of all, thanks for sharing your journey about electronic instrumentation. I enjoyed a lot, Bhaiya. Thanks. Currently, I'm pursuing BTech in EC at Jamia Millia Islamia. So, Bhaiya, I wanted to ask one thing that I asked my senior, ki, brother, I want to get a good job. So he said, if you want to get a good job, just jump into coding field and you will get a job. I said, okay, Bhaiya, I know that IT field is booming, but I want to do something in my core electronics. He said, like, see, by doing BTech, you are not going to do anything. You are not going to get job. Hardly you are going to get job in this ECE field. So I wanted to ask, Bhaiya, is it right? By doing bachelor degree, I'm not going to get job in this EC department in the core electronics field.
No, definitely there are lots of job opportunities in electronics field, man. Every machines which you see right now has electronic chips over there, right? So
yeah, after doing bachelor, without doing masters, I am asking.
No, definitely. I have done BSc, man. You are doing BTech. So you are technically the engineer. I was not even an engineer, and I got job offer from electronics, from mechanical, and all those kinds of engineering. Okay, see, at the end of the day, what a company needs you. Nobody needs your degree. ओके भाई तू मेरी कंपनी में आएगा, मैं क्या करूंगा तेरी जामिया की डिग्री का? मेरे पास एक प्रॉब्लम है, यू हैव टू फिक्स दोस प्रॉब्लम्स, राइट? दैट इज व्हाई आई एम गोइंग टू पे यू. If you can fix those problems, I do not. If you ever see any of my ads, I specifically I know write this that I do not need a degree over there. Okay, if you can fix what I'm trying to solve, I do not care if you have a BTech degree, BSc degree, MTech degree, or MA degree. It is not going to help me anyway. Okay, I use few people's profiles definitely on my website. I'm not going to use. I do not need your profiles for my website. Okay, I need you to solve the hardcore problems which I'm facing in day-to-day engineering life. If you are good with analog electronics, if you are good with digital electronics, if you know how microcontrollers work, most welcome to join me. Okay. Please do not get into any other field just because you are not getting a job. The reason is that you are not, you do not have skills for those jobs. It's as simple as that. ओके हाँ डेफिनेटली आईटी में जॉब्स बहुत ज्यादा है, बट बहुत भेड़ बकरी वाला हिसाब है यार आईटी में. यू हैव टू सी दिस आल्सो ना. ठीक है, यू हैव टू वर्क एट द एंड ऑफ द डे, है ना? आप इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स से हो तो आपको आईटी में क्यों स्विच करना है? अनलेस अंटिल कि आपको इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स में मजा नहीं आता है. दैट इज अ वैलिड पॉइंट. ओके, बट जस्ट बिकॉज योर सीनियर्स आर नॉट गेटिंग जॉब इन इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स, it's their problem they are not getting a job in electronics. There are plenty of jobs in the market. Okay, you just focus on your skills. Yeah, just focus.
Thank you, Bhaiya. Thank you, Bhaiya. Thanks a lot.
No problem.
Okay, so the next question is from Riyaz Saeed, and he asked that if we try to make a simple drone, how much will it cost, and can you please give him an estimate?
Yeah. What do you mean by a simple drone? Like you want to control it through a remote or something?
Yes, sir. We want to control it through a remote, and we also want to give it a camera.
Basically, you can purchase it. Actually, if you see, the thing is the trade-off is between the time and cost. Okay, if you want a drone so that you can fly tomorrow, you have no other option to purchase the ready-made drone and fly it. Okay, if you want to learn how the drones can be made, how the drones work, it is going to take time, at least around six months. Okay, because you are not going to commit like 24 hours every day. Okay, so it is going to take around in hours, if I say, it is going to take around 100 to 120 hours. Okay, to get a good command. Okay, at least a very basic command so that you can start communicating with your drone. There are many things which goes in between, how your transmitter, how your remote is going to communicate with those the receiver of the drone, how much height the drone can take, how much thrust the drone should have. Okay, how much weight the drone should lift, how much battery power you want in the drone. Okay, so the safest or the easiest way is to purchase it. What can I say? If you are willing to commit around 100 hours and 100 to 120 hours, then I can definitely guide you. I would love to guide you, guide anyone on any engineering project. Okay, I will even drop my number over there in the chat. Feel free to contact.
Sir, actually, we want to make it for knowledge purpose.
So for sure. Then it is going to cost you around 10,000, 12,000 max. Yeah. To make a good drone actually. Okay, because if you are going to make a good drone, so you can further make it more advanced, right? You can implement the other algorithms on it. You can make it autonomous on some level. So you will keep learning with this drone. So better to invest at least a decent amount of money on that project in the initial start. Yeah, I hope this answers your question.
Riyaz, is it okay, or you want
yes, to? Thank you, sir.
Okay.
No problem.
Okay, so Zainab has another question related to the name of your company, that is Alternate Dynamics. How did you come up with that, and what is the reason or story behind the Alternate Dynamics name?
Yeah, actually, I came up with 2-3 other names, but the dynamics has to be there. The thing is that I was telling about the control system is that my hand did the movement from here and there is basically, this thing is called dynamics. Okay, from the mechanical, electrical, and the CS perspective, the overall domain is the dynamics. Okay, because we are controlling the motion of this hand. Okay, and alternate, I came up with the name because we are, are trying to replicate the natural hand. Okay, the idea of our alternate dynamics is not just to make any general type of hand. This hand should definitely look like this hand. Okay, so initially we are going to print it on a 3D printer. We are going to 3D map the natural hand, and then we are going to this develop all the mimic all the motions which this hand can do on this hand. Okay, this one, consider this as a prosthetic hand. Okay, so this is definitely going to be the alternate natural hand. So that's why I came up with the name like alternate dynamics. Yeah. I also came up with the name like parallel dynamics, but then alternate dynamics looks much more
cooler.
Good. Yeah, cooler.
Okay. Okay, so is there anyone who has any other questions? Anyone for our audience? Okay, so I'll just take that as a no, and I guess this is how we come to the end of the session.
Yeah.
Okay, so at the last, but not the least of it, thank you so much, Fazbhai, that you came to this platform and you talked about all of these things. And I'm sure that many people will contact you.
About for sure. Things. Yeah, and if you want, I can, there are actually, someone has also shared some links. Okay, those are easy links. I'm just sharing my number if that's okay over there.
Yeah, sure. So this is how people can know that Fazbhai is very friendly. You can talk to him, call him, visit his place.
Yeah, call me anytime. Call me 3 in the morning. I have no personal life.
I guess that is the same for all the entrepreneurs. Like it is all dedicated to work.
One thing which I actually, 2-3 things I will take around 4 to 5 minutes. See, when you start a company, you think that you are going to be the CEO, founder of the company. Okay. At the end, you are nothing but a salesman. Okay. Remember this, please. If anyone is going to start a company, remember this. This looks cool on the visiting card, on the website that you are the CEO, the founder of the company. At the end, agar tumhare office mein pani nahi aa raha, that is your problem. You have no one to complain. So please be prepared for it. And if you cannot commit like each and every waking hour to your company, I don't know how you are going to manage it. Okay. Yeah. So, and I actually, wrote this on my other computer. This screen that we have been even now. My father is actually a huge Allama Iqbal fan. I don't know. I'm also a huge fan of Allama Iqbal, but my father is like crazy fan of Allama Iqbal. If any of you have ever heard of his kalam, so one of his most favorite, my father's favorite is actually, like मिटा दे अपनी हस्ती अगर कुछ मर्तबा चाहिए कि दाना खाक में मिलके गुले गुलजार होता है. So you have to put yourself in the mud, in the dirt. Rain will fall on you, and then at the end you will start blooming. So that's how you get anything. There is no shortcut. So I'm still struggling on day-to-day life. I have not achieved anything. Okay, so I'm not just giving lectures. I'm basically looking for people who can join me and who can on more level, who can ignore their personal life and commit to this. So yeah, you are welcome.
Yeah, and the same thing I'd like to tell you that Future Robotics has a lot of open internship opportunities right now. They're continuously posting about it on Instagram channel, so you can just connect with this to even know about what are the job opportunities, internship opportunities that Future Robotics is presenting or putting at your table. And you can then, after dropping your resume on the information about all is given on the post and the stories. You can just go ahead and have a look at our Instagram channel and everything. You'll get to know about all these things. And obviously, if you have any doubt, you can call the number. As I already given his number.
My number is on the website. I don't care anyone calls me or messages me anytime. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so thank you so much for that. It was really nice listening to you.
Yeah,
thank you so much.
Thank you, man, for arranging this, for having me. Okay.
It is always nice to talk to alumni and people like you are there to kind of share your knowledge and all. It is really very good to talk to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, man. Okay, bye. Take care. Assalamu alaikum.
Bye. Thank you all for joining. Thank you so much.